Hey guys, welcome to the Cordyceps podcast, the only show that covers everything you need to know about the fungus among us. I'm your host Ash, and in this episode we will dive into the world of The Last of Us, the hit video game and TV series that depicts a dystopian future where humans are infected by a deadly variant of Cordyceps. We will also learn about the real-life examples of Cordyceps and how they take over the minds and bodies of ants and other insects. And last of us, but not least of us, we will discuss the possible health benefits of Cordyceps and whether they can actually improve your mood, stamina, and performance. So buckle up, grab your gas mask, and join me for this thrilling episode of the Cordyceps podcast. So we have a special bunch of guests on our show today, and one of them is Dr. McKinley. So Dr. John McKinley has studied in Maynooth. He's been studying mycology, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, the study of mushrooms for several years now. And John is here today to share with us some questions. So welcome to the show, John.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to share my knowledge on cordyceps today.
That's great. So good to have you. Could you start by giving us a brief summary of what Cordyceps is?
Sure. Cordyceps is not a species of fungus, but rather a genus of the phylum sac fungi. It includes approximately 700 species.
And what about the harmful aspects of Cordyceps? So we often hear that Cordyceps can grow inside insects and eat them from the inside. Is that true?
Absolutely. Cordyceps is an endoparasite, which means that it parasitizes insects. It can grow inside ants, spiders, mites, and even caterpillars. The fungus consumes the insect from the inside, eventually killing it.
That sounds absolutely terrifying. Are there any species of Cordyceps that are less terrifying and maybe useful to us humans?
Yeah, there are two species that are particularly useful. Cordyceps sinensis and Cordyceps militaris.
Okay, Cordyceps sinensis is known to be expensive, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Cordyceps sinensis is a rare species that cannot be mass-produced commercially due to its complicated life cycle. It must be farmed in the Himalayas. As a result, it's very expensive, costing over €20,000 per kilogram. If a product claims to contain Cordyceps sinensis, it's probably referring to a lab-grown variant called CS4, which may or may not be an entirely different species.
Okay, so if Cordyceps sinensis is kind of out of the question financially, what about Cordyceps militaris?
Cordyceps militaris is a more accessible species. It can be cultivated on rice and grain. It doesn't have to grow on bugs, so it's a popular choice for commercial cultivation. It looks like Cheetos and is often used in traditional medicine for its various health benefits.
That's really cool. That's super interesting. I'm sure lots of our listeners would be really intrigued to know more about that. Do you have any more information about the medicinal benefits of Cordyceps?
Yeah. Cordyceps has been used in traditional medicine for centuries. It is believed to have various health benefits, including boosting the immune system, improving cardiovascular health, and reducing inflammation. However, more research is needed to confirm these claims.
That's super interesting. I think especially because we're in such a bizarre time of the world today that lots of people in developed areas of the world are dying of obesity and cardiovascular diseases rather than just old age. And if we're all trying to live better and healthier lives, things like reducing inflammation and improving your immune system could be amazing. So check out the GoFundMe for Dr. McKinley's research. That was great. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Dr. McKinley. Good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Next up, we have a guest calling in to talk about the benefits of mushrooms. I'm really excited to talk to you today. Welcome to our show. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Luna. Thanks so much for having me on your podcast. I'm so excited to chat about one of my all-time favourite mushrooms.
That's great, Luna. Let's get down to it. What is so great about Cordyceps?
Where do I even begin? Cordyceps are known for their ability to boost energy levels and improve athletic performance, which is pretty great if you're into working out or just need a little pick-me-up during the day.
That sounds amazing, but what exactly are cordyceps and how do they work?
Cordyceps are a type of medicinal mushroom that have been used in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries. They contain a variety of bioactive compounds such as polysaccharides and cordycepin that have been shown to have a ton of health benefits. For example, they can help to reduce inflammation in the body, boost the immune system, and even have anti-aging properties.
I know I could certainly do with that. Are there any other, maybe more obscure benefits to these mushrooms?
Ah, yes. Cordyceps is also an aphrodisiac, believed to increase sexual desire and performance, and in some cases even cure erectile dysfunction. It's been nicknamed as the Himalayan Viagra.
And tell me, Luna, if someone wanted to incorporate cordyceps into their daily routine for whatever reason, how would they go about that?
There are a ton of ways to take cordyceps. You can find them in supplement form as capsules or powders, or you can even add them to your meals as a culinary mushroom. I personally love making a cordyceps tea by steeping the mushrooms in hot water for 15 to 20 minutes. It's a great way to enjoy the benefits of cordyceps while also enjoying a warm, cosy beverage.
Sounds delicious. Now, before we finish up, is there anything else you would like to tell our audience about this magical mushroom?
Yes, unfortunately, with the way things are going, climate change is bound to affect this species. It could reduce in numbers or may have to alter its magical properties to survive in a warmer climate. That's why I want to encourage everyone to support sustainable practices and protect our environment.
Absolutely. We should all do our part to preserve the magic of cordyceps. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and passion with us, Luna. It was truly enlightening.
Thank you so much for having me. Remember, eat your mushrooms and stay magical.
Our next guest has travelled all the way from Brazil to talk to us today. Hello and welcome to the show. This is really embarrassing. I actually don't know your name. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Ant, and I'm infected with Cordyceps fungus.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Can you tell us more about your condition?
Sure. Cordyceps is a type of fungus that infects insects like me. It entered my body roughly 3 weeks ago and is now slowly taking over my brain, controlling my movements until I die.
That sounds terrible. How do you feel right now?
Honestly, I don't feel good at all. I can feel the fungus growing inside of me, taking over my body. I don't know how much time I have left.
This interview is taking a very dark turn. Is there anything that can be done to save you?
Unfortunately not. Once the fungus takes over, there is no cure. It's only a matter of time before I die.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Is there any last words that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I'd like to raise awareness about cordyceps and its effects on insects like me. We need to find a way to stop this fungus from spreading and killing more of us.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. That is really touching. Our thoughts are with you and your family, your tiny little ant family or colony, during this difficult time.
Thank you for having me. It was nice to have a chance to speak before I go. One thing I know for sure is that I'll fight this to the very end.
And he's dead. Anyway, our next guest is a member of the public who has called in to discuss her opinions on mushrooms. Welcome to the show, Karen Flannery.
Finally, I'm here to warn people about the idiots who think it's a good idea to use mushrooms in medicine. They're all the way mad altogether.
Can you tell us a little bit more about why you're so concerned about mushrooms?
Because they're a menace, that's why. I come from a farm and I've seen firsthand how mushrooms can be destructive. They're like a virus that spreads and infects everything in its path.
What about the potential benefits of using mushrooms in medicine?
Benefits? What benefits? The only benefit I see is for the mushroom farmers who want to line their pockets. There are no real benefits to using mushrooms in medicine. It's all a bunch of hocus pocus nonsense.
Wouldn't you think that it'd be the pharmaceutical companies trying to line their pockets like they are now? It doesn't really fit with the narrative that I would have heard of. But what about the fact that mushrooms have been used in traditional medicine for centuries?
Oh, don't get me started on that. Just because something has been done for centuries doesn't mean it's right. People used to think the earth was flat too. We have access to modern medicine now and we should stick to what we know.
Well, it's certainly an interesting perspective. What would you say to people who have had positive experiences using mushrooms in medicine? What do you make of the studies that have shown that individuals that experience no relief in mental health symptoms from different types of antidepressants and have had a new lease of life from one therapeutic dose of magic mushrooms?
I would say they're delusional. They're probably just high on mushrooms and don't know what they're talking about. They should stick to the real good old medicine and leave mushrooms to the hippies and tree huggers.
Can you give us some insight to why you're such a fungophobe? It's not usually such a polarising topic.
It all started roughly 6 minutes ago when I was driving home from the pub. I was minding my own business, enjoying the scenery, when I saw something strange on the road ahead. It looked like a bunch of mushrooms, but they were all huge and colourful. Anyway, I decided to swerve around them just in case they were poisonous or something. Because you know how I feel about mushrooms. That's when I lost control of my car and slammed into a building. Luckily, no one was hurt too bad, just a few bruises and scratches. You know yourself.
The Guardian are saying that 7 people are in critical condition in hospital over that. What do you make of that?
The guards say a lot of things. Either way, it was all caused by those silly mushrooms.
They're also saying that you were drunk and driving 40 over the limit.
Drunk? How could I be drunk from my morning wee cuppa? I only had like 5 pints.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. It's certainly a passionate perspective on the use of mushrooms in medicine.
You're damn right it is, and if anyone wants to argue with me about it, they can take it up with me in person or online via Instagram. My username is mushroomhater5000.
You heard it, folks. Anyone who has any qualms with the fungophobe, have at it. So, our final topic is The Last of Us TV series, its impact on raising awareness about mushrooms and the science behind the fiction, which I will be discussing, with my co-host Matthew, who has been here this whole time.
Hello, I've been here this whole time.
I don't think you have, actually. I've never seen you before.
You don't remember when I said that one really important thing earlier?
No. So anyway, have you seen the show?
No, is it good?
Yes, it's very good. It's based on the game, which is also amazing. It's beautifully filmed, and the casting was really popular with the viewers. Pedro Pascal, who plays Joel in the show, is absolutely blowing up a storm on the internet. It's set in an apocalyptic world filled with zombies. They were created by a mutation in the species. Bear with me now. I'm not a scientist. I'm a podcast host, okay? So it's Cordyceps unilateralis. This is one of the species of Cordyceps which controls the brains of ants, but in the show, it's found a way to infect and control humans.
That sounds scary. What happens to the zombies?
They're not technically zombies because the humans aren't dead. They just have lost control of their bodies, and the fungus forces them to spread the disease to others.
They don't sound like very fun guys.
No, they're not at all. They go through different stages of infection as the fungus takes over, eventually looking more like a walking mushroom than a human.
I suppose the question now that everyone is dying to ask is, could this happen in real life? Do we actually have anything to be afraid of?
This is a really interesting question, and everyone's been asking it now since the show has become so popular. But I think the short answer is no, and the longer answer is Cordyceps has taken over 40 million years to learn how to infect ants and other insects. So jumping to a stage 2 disease and infect humans would take millions more. Humans have extremely advanced immune systems, and any organisms trying to infiltrate these would need some serious adaptations. Because Cordyceps is so interesting and useful, the genus is well studied by scientists who would see an evolution like this miles away in plenty of time to eliminate the danger, or at the very least, warn the public, so we could just panic about it indefinitely. Or, maybe do something practical about it, whichever. Even if stage 2 endemism was achieved and the fungus could infect humans, it wouldn't be able to replicate in the human body, meaning it wouldn't be contagious.
So my mother isn't going to be turned into a mushroom?
I wouldn't completely write it off already, but not anytime soon anyway.
Good to know.
Wait,
What's wrong?
there are reports of a new, quickly evolving fungus called Candida auris, discovered in 2009 as a species of yeast. It is now infecting human brains and killing them. It is resistant to antifungal drugs and hospital disinfectants.
Sure.